Well, welcome everybody. Welcome to Unity of Las Vegas Sunday morning experience. So today, as we are caught up in, so many challenging feelings because of the coronavirus, we are going to step forward today. Matter of fact, that's the message, is the way forward. And as we do, we are acknowledging and honoring just where we are as a human being on this planet today. Some of us, our experience of fear and anxiety is very high. Some, it may be very low. For some, we're just taking a look at health issues. For others, it may be financial issues. For some, it may be about ourselves, but also it may be about others. And that is, especially like my sister, she's turning 85. She has respiratory conditions, and so you probably have family members as well. But whatever you are going through, today, there's a way forward. And one of the ways forward we're going to start off with is prayer. We'll begin with our revised unity prayer, and it goes like this. We know that God is love, and that love has no end. And God is power, and that power has no bounds. We just take a look now and embrace our family, friends, ourself, and this entire planet. And we know that God's healing power of divine life is restoring, healing, and revitalizing our world in this very moment. Therefore, we can express divine life in all we think, say, and do. We bless ourselves and our global family with radiant health, peace of mind, and abundant love. So as we pray this prayer, we affirm that it is the truth in the name and through the power and the presence of Jesus the Christ presence within us and the love that permeates all things. So as we bless ourselves today, I just want you to know that if we get stuck, something doesn't seem to go right, if the coronavirus has us seemed like it just won't go away, and we're worried both night and day. So the goal today is to hand it over. All you've got to do is pray.
If your troubles won't go away and you worry night and day, hand it over. All you got to do is pray. If you're sick, feeling low, got no money, got nowhere to go, just hand it over. All you got to do is pray. Hand it over, hand it over, yeah. Give it up and give it over. Just hand it over. All you got to do is pray. Ain't no mountain we can't climb. There's no answers we can't find. All you need is a hand to hold. It'll heal your body, feed your soul. The road is dark and you can't find your way. Yeah. Let the Spirit light the way. Just hand it over. All you got to do is pray. All right. I got
You're better than a cup of coffee in the morning. That was very good. Thank you. Oh, yeah, I felt it all the way down in my bones. I hope that you did as well. In the midst of all this condition and situation that's going on, my beloved brothers and sisters, it's time for us to find a way forward. Find a way forward. So I want to tell a little story that sort of like is like a metaphor for what we're taking a look at today. As I understand it, a little baby chick before it's born is encased in a shell. And there comes a period of time when this shell that the baby chick is encased in becomes polluted, becomes claustrophobic. There is no room for any plenitude. There is lack, there's limitation of mobility. And then in the midst of that, the baby chick needs to evolve or else it's going to die. But at that very moment, when it's time for that, God doesn't send an answer to the baby chick so that it can go to its next level. Instead, God has placed within it already the necessary ingredient from the beginning of its existence that it could actually meet the current condition and circumstances. So what it does, it gets in tune with its divine nature. It's an instinctual nature. It is in alignment with the divine plan. And in that, something happens, and the chick starts to realize that there has a power within him. Doesn't quite know what to do with it, but there's a power within him that is surging. And so it begins to peck. And so it's an interesting thing. He has a little beak of a mouth, and he starts to peck, consistently peck. And as he do that, he realizes something. The shell that's been encasing him starts to break through, and he steps out, and it's an entirely new environment. And at that very moment, the baby chick says, "My God, what a fantastic time to be alive." Well, he didn't quite say those words, but it really comes out to be that essence. And my beloved brothers and sisters, it is time for us to peck through that shell, that conditions that has us steeped in fear and lack and limitation, and want us to realize that we have a divine nature, and that divine nature is love. And so there's a scripture that I want to use as reference to this. It is First John, the 4th chapter and the 44th verse. Basically, what it's saying is, just want you to know this, that there is a power within you that is always greater than the condition before you. But how it really says it is, he that is within you is greater than he that's in the world. And we'll take a look at this. There's two he's here. The he that is within you is this universal love that is present, that is your divine nature that you came here with, just like the chick. That's who you are. Is greater than he that's in the world, and the world is any conditions of disillusions and a belief in separation that's causing lack, limitations, and suffering, that is subservient to the power that's within you. Whatever is holding us and blocking us is inferior to the power that's within us. And so we're going to take a look at that, because the power that's within us, we're calling it love. We're going to use it a little differently, though. It's more than just about loving everybody and everything. We're going to get to that. But the first thing I want us to do is to use this power that's within us to love ourselves, to bring this power forward. We're going to love our fears, our anxieties, and our worries. We're going to apply this really love in another direction, because once we get in touch with that, we can get in touch with our authentic nature. And Lisa, what is it about this power of love?
Well, part of being able to see this power of love is to embrace what we do so beautifully in Unity, which is a metaphysical approach. And the metaphysical approach, the heart of metaphysics, really is developing this capacity to see beyond the obvious, to see beyond just the surface of what is happening. And so when I do that, looking at this coronavirus, two things begin to become obvious. And one of them is how profoundly we are all connected as a species on the planet. That's evidence in the spreading of this virus. But also it's evidence in this potency that we are all on the whole planet now looking at exactly the same thing. And so if you could just sense into that for just a moment. And what is it that we might bring forward if we focus our attention on new possibilities, new ways of connecting, new structures that are sustainable and in alignment with what can really work for all of us as a species long term? The other piece is the bringing up of fears. There are many fears that have come to the surface, anxieties. And this is a calling forth of a love within us. And because the universe is always moving in the direction of expanded capacities and higher expressions of love, we can see that these fears are actually calling forth our next highest expression of love as divine beings on the planet. And so in that, we can look at all of these fears, everything that we're worried about, all of these concerns, as a gift to us, not something to be suppressed, not something to ignore, not something to judge as bad. But when we allow these aspects of fear in us to meet the love that is wanting to express itself newly in and as us, we consciously, at that point, begin to align with the evolutionary impulse in bringing forth more expanded expressions of love. This is the very heart of compassion. This is what we mean when we say to be compassionate. And of course, this begins first with self-compassion, and then we can be compassionate towards others. And so let's take this into meditation. I invite you wherever you are now just to close your eyes and bring attention to your breath. And just begin to take gentle breaths in and out. And as you are inhaling and exhaling, sense the beautiful freedom of exchange between the inside of your body and the air that is outside, and how this beautiful boundary begins to separate, where the world now you're experiencing inside breathing together. And sense this connectivity with the world, with all beings, with all life forms. And sense the living pulse of the planet. From this dynamic evolution of the geosphere to the emergence of life in the biosphere, through to the magnificence of human beings, breathing in this richness and fullness of all of us connected in this profound connectivity. Invisible to some, but made visible now to us, those who have eyes to see, in a palpable way. Thomas Merton says the whole idea of compassion is based on a keen awareness of the interdependence of all living beings, which are all part of one another and all involved in one another. And the Dalai Lama says that compassion is the radicalism of our time. And so as all of these most tender human qualities come to the fore during this time, our fears and our anxieties, in this moment we are going to acknowledge them. We are going to be willing to see them. We are going to call them forth, sensing into these smaller, younger, more tender places in you that have been making themselves known more and more over the past weeks and months. All of your fears, worries, anxiety, we're going to call them forth now out from under the bed, under the piano, out from their hiding places in the closet. Call them forth into your heart the way that you would call forth a child. And allow them in this calling forth to meet the warmth of love in you as you. This love that is newly expressing itself in response. And allow these two parts of you to find each other in your heart. These tender human places, wrapped in the warmth of your love, your acceptance, and your willingness to see them for the gift that they truly are. Sense this divine chemistry between them as these tender places create and inform love freshly and newly as you. Take a moment just to breathe as these two connect. And embrace the peace that comes in the meeting of these two. Embrace the warmth of the healing that is taking place in your heart in this moment. And as you're being with this and breathing this in, send this warmth out into the world. And to see the whole world is wrapped in this compassion. And see all the fears of the world, all the anxieties met with this love that is wanting to come forth and express newly in us as a human race. And so that all can know that no matter what the circumstance is, God is. Wherever we are, God is. Where we stand, where we breathe, God is.
Where I am, God is. Where I stand, God is standing strong. Where I breathe, God is breathing life in and out and through me as me. Where I see God is, where I dance, joy lifts my feet. Where I live, beauty's flowing free, in and out and through me as me. Where I doubt, God is the faith in me. And where I cry, God is the comfort there. Where I seek, God is the answer. Here and now, forever and ever and ever. Where I speak truth
That is so beautiful. Thank you all. A round of applause. I can feel it coming through. It's just overwhelming us. That was good. Yay.
Dave Richardson.
All right. Yeah.
Lee.
Yes. So God is. My beloved brothers and sisters, it's time to realize there's only one presence and one power in the universe, and it's God. And God is so much love. In fact, God is love. And so that's the anchor. God is. God is. The baby chick connected with this essence and presence called God is, and it found a way. It was an instinctual way to be able to move forward, break outside of its boundaries. Well, it's time for us. Time for us to break out of this condition of fear, lack, limitation, and all of that, because it's really designed to pull us forward. All of the fears, like Lisa spoke about, is really designed to call us up higher because it's already within us. We have, from the very beginning, what it takes to move forward. And so the affirmation in our prayer is this: there is a power within me that is always greater than the condition before me. I'll say that again. There is a power within me that is always greater than the condition before me. This power that we're going to talk about today is love. And so as we take a look at this, there is a power. And what we're talking about, the one presence and one power that was there from the Big Bang, from the very beginning, that permeates everything, that's everywhere present. And since it's everywhere present, it is within us. There is this power that is so magnificent from the beginning that we're a culmination of it. It is representing in our DNA and our very essence, and it's giving us the guidance. There is a power within us that is always greater. What do I mean by always? I mean always. Now, normally I don't use the word always because as soon as I say it, it's like the universe says, well, really? I am going to give you something else to make sure that you realize it's not always. But in this case, it is. This presence and power is always, forever, and in all ways greater than the condition before us. But the thing of it is, if we're caught up in an illusion, if we're caught up in fear and whatnot, we won't see the magnificence that's within us, that very thing is calling forth from us. So we're taking a look now from a different vantage point, using love to activate us and so that we can bring it forth to meet the conditions within us, all of our fears, lack, limitations, and all that, and also the conditions that are outside of us, because once we learn how to use it here, we can do it out there. So the key is there's a power within us. There's always greater than the condition before us. I want to use something also, and that is the essence. Let me get my glasses here. There is, in 1516, Thomas More wrote a book entitled Utopia. In that book, he described an imaginary, ideal society free from poverty, suffering, pain, and sorrow. The definition of this utopia was later broadened to apply any perfect place that operates harmoniously. Can you imagine that? Matter of fact, somebody should write a song called Imagine. I think it would do pretty good. But anyway, back to this. So we take a look. What if this place called Utopia is really real? What do I mean? Let's rename it now. On one level, it's called the Kingdom of Heaven or the New Jerusalem. On another level, this energy, this new vibration, could be called the fourth or the fifth generation of what I would call an energy field. This is something that is waiting for us on the other side where there's peace and harmony. What we're designed to do is bring forth who we are to be able to meet this condition and situation. It is our time now to elevate to this next level. And the spiritual practice is this: wake up every day and say, there is a power within me that is always greater than the condition before me. Actualize that, and this power that's within you is love. And I'm inviting you to love yourself first. And then as you do, you'll have greater insight in how to meet the conditions that are before you and elevate them to another level, because in this higher path of response, it changes a challenge and turn it into something that's from a grievance into a gift. There is a power within us that is converting all of our issues into tissues of blessing. There is a transmutation that takes place once we activate this power within us that is called love. And so in this now, we're going to pray. We're going to pray. We're going to hand it over, and we're going to pray. And pray doesn't mean change God. It means that we open up to awareness of the power within us. Prayer changes us so that we can love all of ourselves and bring that forward. Then also we're going to be able to pray for others. And so now I want to have this opportunity to realize that there is a power within you, but also we're going to transform it, and we're going to bless each other, because as we lift up this vibration, as we start to break through the conditions that are before us, we start to help out to break conditions for other people as well. So Don, if somebody wants to pray, what do you recommend?
Hand it over.
Yes.
So, Unity has at least 100 years of prayer history. And as a prayer chaplain, I recognize that some of you may be really suffering. The fear and the concern about your situation may be overwhelming. If you would like somebody to talk to, please call Silent Unity. And that number is 816-969-2000. And there is somebody that will lift you up on the other end of the phone. And in this moment, we would like to affirm a prayer for each of us. What I'd like you to do is to imagine your trouble, your concern, and you can move that trouble into this box. This box I'm holding is holding all the prayer requests that come into our Unity Center. And I want you to move your prayer request into this box. There is nothing greater than God's love. Your trouble can dissipate easily when you let it go. So move that trouble into this box and let it stay here. Beyond your troubled mind and beyond this physical body lies a field of infinite power. They call it the silence. They call it potential. You are forever connected. It is impossible to disconnect. And just know that this connection is here for you in this moment and every moment. So it is. Amen.
Amen. And we give thanks for this day, and we give thanks that there is a power within each and every one of us that's greater than any condition before us, and we're ready to break through. And we realize that this is absolute good news, because there is something that we can hang on to. And so as we do, as we invite you now to maintain this ministry so that we can be here for you. We're going to invite you to send in your donations and contributions, even though you're not here in person. There's multiple ways to do it, and one of the ways we created was a donate button that you can hit at this point, and you can contribute directly online, or there are other ways, and check our website and the Facebook page for those. We're now stepping into this wonderful thing, and it is called There's a Good News. Good news. Good news that there is a presence and a power available to you.
Tell me, people, are you listening? I know it's hard to hear. Above the noise and the friction that keeps bringing up fears. For everybody that is trying to make you feel all alone. There's so many more vying to bring you the blessings of home. The good news is there's love. A rhythm, a song we all can sing. You don't need to ask permission when you're spreading your wings. Life is not a competition, a souvenir to win or lose. Listen to your intuition, the light that shines from within. The good news is there's love. On earth, the good news is there's peace. The good news is there's harmony. The good news is there's evidence of angels on earth. The good news is there's love. The good news is there's hope. Angels on earth, angels on earth. Yeah, they're everywhere. That's the good news, that's the good news. Oh, that's the good news, that's the good news. It's there. That's the good news, that's the good news. Oh, that's the good news.
Thank you.
I wanted to say something. That
Please.
song was written by myself and a wonderful young man named Ryan Kaiser. And he's the son of a really good friend of mine. He's a great songwriter.
I love that. Thank
Give him
you.
credit.
Absolutely. So the good news is there is only one presence and there is only one power. And the good news is love. There's so much good news here in the midst of what's going on. And we acknowledge all of the suffering and the fear and everything that's going through. But in the midst of this, there's some good news. And we're going to bring that forward. So let us be the light now that will lift up our lives, but also share it with others. And as we go forth from this place, I just want you to know you can, I would say, affirm that, my God, this is a fantastic time to be alive in this. And so you're activating something within you, that who you are is happy, healthy, wealthy, and wise. And that's what we're going to close out with. And let's say our prayer for protection together as we close out. And we just know that we are the instrument of divine love. And so divine love through each and every one of us blesses and multiplies us. But most importantly is that the light of God is surrounding us, because each and every one of us is the light of God. The love of God enfolds us because we are the love of God in expression. The power of God protects us because we are that power of God that's individualized in each and every one of us. And the presence of God watches over us, and we are the presence of God because wherever we are, God is, and all is well. And so we're going to close out knowing that we are happy, healthy, wealthy, and wise.
I am happy, healthy, wealthy, and wise. I am happy, healthy, wealthy, and wise. And I know the light of love shining in my eyes. I am happy, healthy, wealthy, and wise. You know what? A little birdie told me. She said, life is so sweet. As I listen to her song, I know I am complete. I have